Hello everyone, this is Rebecca Jane from Yoga with Rebecca Jane. Welcome to our Thursday session, and I'm so happy to have you with me. This class will be on the side plank. Now I know as soon as I say the side plank, people make faces and they're like, oh, I don't like it, it's hard work. But I will actually show you the basic, the variation, which is for beginners. You can take it a step further if you're comfortable in the beginner position, but that's where what we're working towards. Now the beauty of side planks, they are all core strengthener, full core strengthener, even more so than the traditional core. I mean, traditional plank when you're facing down towards the ground. The side plank impacts the muscle, which I'm going to actually look at to read it to you. It's called the quandratus lumborum, which is it's a stabilising abdominal muscle which prevents back pain. Any kind of sit-up that you do on a regular basis, crunches, let's say, that puts a lot of pressure on your lower back, while these planks in general don't. And side planks will strengthen that muscle. You'll also be strengthening your arms, you'll be working your legs as well. And one of the things that when I was reading and doing some research on this is that it helps to, if you happen to have love handles or you don't want to have love handles, this is one of the best ways to prevent that, or to at least minimize the ones you have. But once we build, we'll first start with the basics, and then with time we'll build up on it. But just start with the basics, get that right, and then we'll go on for there. So this is part of the solar plexus chakra. It's about building confidence, firing up that, firing yourself up, that fire element that is part of the solar plexus chakra. It's a confidence builder. The mantra for today is I am confident. Even if you can only hold it for a few seconds, and even if you can only get it to a certain point, it's about trying and giving things your best shot, and that's what we're here for. Okay, so let's begin with lying on our backs. Let's come onto our backs. We'll start with the abdominal work that we've been doing, and a little added, and then I'll bring you into a boat to strengthen, just concentrate on firing up these core muscles, and then some side balances in order to prepare ourselves for the side plank. Okay, let's come down, and once you're on your back, make sure that you're comfortable. Don't just flop down. Let yourself first stretch out, feeling the length of your body and stretching through the arms, stretching through the legs. This will give you an idea of what especially bring your mind's eye to the sides of your body, because this is what we'll be concentrating on today. Hug the knees into your chest, little rocks and rolls from side to side. And then place the feet flat on the ground. Grab hold of a block, and you can also use a strap. Always have those things handy in the classes. We're going to start with simply placing our feet flat on the ground and letting our arms open up to the sides. Just drop from the knees from side to side, loosening up our hip joints. Windshield wiper legs, that's what these are called. And again, the focus will be on the sides of your body, less so on the fronts and the lower back, but of course that's all incorporated in these side planks. They're also an arm balance as well. That's what makes it so powerful. Now flatten out those feet, walk those feet a little bit closer in. We're going to do the Forrest abs, which prepares you for all these more challenging poses. So either block between the leg or a blanket rolled up, or nothing.
Let's start with that's always, as I always do, start with the basics. Hands behind the head, elbows angling in towards each other. Take a breath in and lift your head and shoulders off the ground, pointing your elbows towards the ceiling and holding the breath. Tailbone lifts, squeezing the legs towards each other. And I want you to fire up those sit bones. They should be really tight. And then inhale, lower the tailbone down, and then just come to the upper part of your shoulders. Well, and you can stay here or pick the legs to a 90-degree angle or reach the feet up to the sky. I'm going to do the 90-degree angle version for this one. Bring the head back down for a moment, press the lower back into the ground, and then taking an inhale. Lift your head and shoulders up. Then holding the breath, tailbone lifts. Squeeze the legs. Feel the firing up of the tailbone or the sit bones, and then exhale and pull the belly in as you exhale. Elbows reach up, belly pulls in. Legs can go on a diagonal, or if it's easier, you can lift them up to the ceiling. And then let's lower back down, just to the upper part of your shoulders. Let's hold the breath, lift up, stretch through those legs, either up to the ceilings or on an angle. Once you're up there, as you exhale, elbows reach up and tummy muscles pull in. And then lower the feet to the ground. Now take the block from between your legs, cross your right leg over, head down on the ground. Right foot, your legs lift up to a 90-degree angle, or if you can tuck your right foot behind your left ankle, feel free to do that. If you can't, it's not a big issue. If you need to place your feet on the ground, that's fine too. Elbows back to the angle again towards each other. Take a breath in. Head and shoulders lift up. And then holding this, lift your tailbone up. The same thing. Exhale, elbows reach up to the ceiling. Pull the tummy in, squeezing the legs in, and then inhaling, just lowering to the upper part of your shoulders, tailbone down. There's not much movement in the lower back here, or the tailbone, but there's a little bit. So holding the breath, lift your tailbone up, exhaling, elbows lifting up, pull the tummy in, don't forget the tummy, and then inhaling, lowering down. Place your left foot on the ground, untwist those legs, just shake them a little bit, loosen them up, whew, head down. Okay, other side, left leg, cross it over, that, and you can keep the feet on the ground. You can also tuck that left foot behind your right ankle if that's accessible to you, and lift your legs to a 90-degree angle or keep the feet on the ground. So here, make sure the lower back pushes down. Holding the breath, inhaling, the head and shoulders up. Holding the breath now. Lift the tailbone up, and exhaling, elbows lift up, reach towards the ceiling, pull the tummy muscles in, squeeze the legs. Wah! This is a toughie for me anyway. It works, the lower muscles, the pelvic floor. Then lower the tailbone, come to the upper part of the shoulders. One more time on this side. Press the lower back into the ground first. Holding the breath, lift your tailbone. Exhale, reach your elbows towards the ceiling, pull your tummy muscles in, and then lower the feet down. And lower the head down. And just shake out those legs, shake out those tummies. Little rocks and rolls from side to side. Come into a bridge just for one breath. We're only staying here for a moment. Arms next to your sides. Take a breath in. And then as you exhale, tailbone lifts, lower back pushes into the ground, and then lift up as a counter stretch for these abdominals. And once you're up, take a breath in. Just one full breath here. And exhaling. Stay up and then take an inhale, then exhale, lower down, starting with the upper part of your spine and working your way all the way down until the tailbone finally touches. And then hug your knees into your chest and then roll yourself up or come to one side and place your feet flat on the ground. Bent, and let yourself fold over those legs for a moment. Lots of positive things, benefits to doing those Forrest abs. They're done there's lots of variables to it that they're impacting, but it's the core strength that is the biggie. Okay, from here, we're going to go into a boat.
Feet are hip distance apart. Pick your right leg, place your right hand underneath your right knee, left underneath your left. Flex the feet. Not if that's just too much, you know what you can do. Place your feet down. Feel free to do that. Soften the shoulders down, breathe in. And you can release the hands. Now we're going to stay here for just a breath. Core strengthener. And then if you want to, you can either place the feet down and just take a breather, one full breath, or come down about halfway, not all the way down. You're stabilized by your lower back, your lower back. I'm having trouble remembering. Your lower back is on the ground, but the rest is lifting up. Lift all the way up. I was going to say hovering, but it's not hovering. Hug the knees into the chest. When you're trying to talk and do that one, it's not so easy. It was the sacrum I was trying to say. Okay, let's come onto our hands and knees, and let's find ourselves into our child's pose, pressing back, keeping your arms active and strong, forehead resting. This is a very powerful posture, this plank, but all the preparation to get there. Inhaling into your tabletop. Once in your tabletop, let's do a few little cats and cows to warm up the spine. Exhaling, rounding through the back. Inhaling, opening the front of the back. So the front of the chest. Exhaling, rounding the back, pressing through the spine. And then inhaling, lifting and opening. Now one more time, inhaling into your neutral spine. Curl the toes under. Exhale into your downward dogs. Let's warm up our bodies, breathing in, pressing the heels to the ground. This time I want you to bring your feet actually in towards each other. Squeeze the legs together. You can do this on your hands and knees too. Just bring the legs together. Take an inhale and then bend the knees, and I want you to float forward until shoulders and wrists are in line while still keeping your tailbone tilted upward. Just like you're doing a cow stretch. Look beyond your fingers and then exhale, press back into your downward dog. Knees stay soft or bent here. Breathing in, and then bend your knees a little bit more, and then start to float forward, shoulders over wrists, looking towards your thumbs, tailbone lifts. And then maintaining that cow shape. So this is working core muscles. You might be feeling it already. Let's exhale, press back. From here, either jump or find your way as you exhale to the front of the mat. Always coming into our forward bend. Come on down. Let yourself hang here. Ragdoll forward bend with the arms cradling with the elbows or the wrists or the forearms. So just shake your head no, shake your head yes. Just take a few breaths here. Knees are soft, bent. And then swaying from side to side to loosen up that back if that feels good, if that feels okay on your back. So a lot of our postures in yoga do address the lower back, strengthening those muscles, those abdominal muscles I mentioned at the beginning. Release the hands to the ground, but this specifically will target it, this side plank. Bending the knees, take an inhale, and now I want you to ragdoll, roll up. So arms relaxed, hanging, and lift all the way up, and take your shoulders up towards your ears, and then roll them back. Let's inhale, reach your arms up to the sky. This time exhale, bend the elbows to a 90-degree angles, cactus arms, or what we call goalpost arms, and lift back, opening up the front of your body. This should feel really nice on your chest. Then inhale, lift your arms back up towards the ceiling, straightening those arms, straightening your body. Let's do that one more time. Exhale, bend, opening up the front of the body. Take a breath in. Especially after we've done a lot of abdominals, that's a really nice stretch out for your stomach. And then take an inhale and exhale, fold all the way down, forward fold.
Then take your right foot, step it back, and then turn your right foot, the back foot, so that it's in line with the front foot. Come all the way up, warrior two, cartwheel your arms up. So I'm going to spin around. So left foot forward, right back foot in line with the front foot. Reach the arms out to the sides. Soften the shoulders down. So thinking about the side stretch, the side plank, we need a strong side body. So from here, take a breath in. And as you breathe out, I want you to take your left forearm on your left thigh. Push down through that left arm and reach your right arm up to the sky. Both hands are spread, the fingers. Right hand is reaching up, and you could spin it. I usually have it pointing towards my head. Reach, 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 reach. If you feel like you need a little bit more of a stretch, feel free to reach it over your right ear. But as you're doing this, push into that left thigh simultaneously so that you're opening up the right side a little bit more. Take your right hip back, left hip forward. Take an inhale and exhale. Swing, come back, cartwheel back into your warrior twos. Then straighten your front leg, right hand on your right hip, and hinge over your front leg. Now you can use a block on the outside of that left foot, or place your left hand on your shin. If it's just hanging, some yoga classes, they'll have you pushing on the side of your leg. It's not enough resistance. You need something a little bit more solid. So that hence the hand is on the left shin or on a block. Reach your right arm up to the sky. Stretch through those fingers. And then take an inhale and exhale. Lift back up. And then curl your back toes under, sweep your arms up, and you'll be at the front of your mat in a second. Exhaling, step back, downward dog. I'm going to spin back around, and your downward dog. Let's take a breath in. Let's walk our feet forward to the front of the mat again, forward fold. Ragdoll roll, take an inhale and exhale, roll up one vertebra at a time. Taking your time, no rush here. Take your shoulders, squeeze them back behind you. Inhale, sweep your arms up to the sky. Exhale, hands to heart. Take a pause, take an inhale, reach your arms up. Exhaling, forward fold. Now this time, step your left foot back and flatten out that back foot. Heel toe that right foot so it's in line with your back foot. Cartwheel those arms up. So we're not going through a full sun salutation, the plank to the cobra today. Just so that we can actually concentrate on these stretches and these strengtheners. Arms out to the sides, soften down through the shoulders. Left hip back, right hip forward. Looking towards your right middle finger with this soft gaze called dristi. Make sure your right knee is directly over your right ankle or slightly behind, but not beyond. So here we are, pressing into the outer edge of that left foot, and then taking an inhale and exhale, place your right forearm, spin your right palm up to the ceiling, on top of that right thigh. Push in, lift your left arm up. As you do so, push into that right leg, reach through that left arm, and stretch your left arm over your right, possibly, or keep it lifted. So this is just an option. Now, if you allow your bottom arm to sink, you're not going to get the same effect. Feel what it's like as you push into that leg and lift up. Then take an inhale and exhale, cartwheel those arms up, warrior two again. Not much has to be changed with the legs at all. And then straighten your front leg. Left hand on your right hip. Take a breath in and reach that right arm forward. Keep reaching, 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 reaching until you find either the block to put your hand on. Maybe it's a high version, the shin. I'll put it on the block, and then lift your left arm up. As you're doing this, you're using that surface of the block or your shin to push down. At the same time, simultaneously, your top arm is reaching up and palm is facing forward towards the left side of the mat. So taking an inhale, this lift back up, back into your warrior two, and then spin forward. Back toes turn forward, place the hands on the ground, step back, downward dog. Oh, this kind of frees your hips up, your sides up, and then lower the knees to the ground. Let's sit back into a child's pose. Take a few breaths here, inhaling and exhaling. So maintaining that Ujjayi breath, it doesn't have to be too intense because we're not moving dynamically enough that it needs to be, requires a lot of intensity to the breath. You can soften it a little bit. But as you'll find, as we're going to come into our, now we're moving into the peak pose, which is the side plank. Now, you can come onto all fours or stay in your downward, come to your downward dog. Now I'll show you what we're doing here. It's very simple. You're going to bring your left foot in just about halfway, maybe not even as far, to the center between your arms and your back foot. Okay, you're going to place your right hand, bring it in, so it's at the center of the mat. Turn your left toes forward, so they're pointing forward now, and then come onto the outer edge of that right foot. So as you can see, if you couldn't get that, if you said, oh, how do I do this? Just come down and then play with it. So the left toes are pointing forward, long end of the mat, right side of the mat, and then come on, if I said left, I meant right. And then you're lifting up. This is the variation with, this is what, I don't want to say easier variation, but it's a beginner's variation. Make sure your right wrist and shoulder are in line, and then you can lift your left arm up. Make sure the thing we don't want to do is let our right hip drop. Lift it up using all these side muscles, tummy muscles. This might be enough. The other version is to take your left foot, place it on top of your right. I'm just showing you that version, but I'm going to continue with the other one because I think this is enough for many of us. It's hard enough as it is. And then let's come onto our knees. Take a pause, child. Can't let the breath flow, calming the nervous system. As you can probably tell, your nervous system is a little bit more uptight, anxious, because you've turned on the stress response. Let's inhale, come into your tabletop, and then curl the toes under. Now from here, you're going to bring your right foot halfway. You will see the back of me here. Place that left hand in the center of the mat, and then pivot your right foot so that it's pointing forward to the long end of the right side, on the right side of the mat. Somehow I get lefts and rights all screwed up. Come onto the outer edge of that left foot. Now, you might want to look at me and see how my hip is collapsing down. I'm going to lift my hip up, and my right arm lifts towards the ceiling. So what you're thinking of is lifting, using the ground as what you're going to push into. It's your resistance. And as you push in, you lift up nice and tall, root and rise. Your gaze can be down, it could be forward, it could be up to the right hand. And then lower the hands down, lower the knees down, and sit back. Let's take a few breaths in and a few breaths out.
And then walk your hands towards your knees, come onto your right hip, and then spin our legs forward, slide your bottom to your heels. Take a pause here for a moment. Stretch out your legs, reach the arms up to the sky, forward bend. We'll be doing a lot more of those because of the benefits to it. And I think as you probably sensed, that if it was difficult, your heart was, you found it pretty challenging, then it means we need to do more of it, because there's the amount of benefits far outweigh maybe the part of it we don't like very much. So lower yourself down. You know, there's some poses we love, some poses we don't, but often the ones we don't like are the ones we want to, and that we find difficult. Come onto your backs, a little rock and rolls from side to side. So you should feel pretty invigorated at this point, awake, alert, and then turn your gaze to the right. Then we're in our spinal twist. And my guess is you will feel a lot of muscles many muscles that you haven't felt in a while, or you haven't felt, or you remember ever feeling, because these are muscles that we very rarely strengthen. Inhale the knees back up, give yourself another hug, draw your forehead to your knees, and then reopen those arms, place your knees to the right, turn your gaze to the left. This side body's part of our body is often neglected because there's not much we do with our side bodies that are daily or any activity we do, rarely we need a lot of side body. We do a lot of twisting or strengthening. So this is extremely important to do it when we have an opportunity. So between the anaforest and these side planks and planks, you'll notice a difference in the next few months or so. Hug your knees into your chest, and let's prepare our body for Shavasana. Let the left foot roll open to the left, right to the right. Let the arms, place the arms next to your sides, but a few inches from the body, palms facing up. And this is when you probably feel the Shavasana even more, because when you've tensed your muscles, created tension in the muscles by tightening them, there's that relief. And this is when we feel a relief, because now you can let the tension go. You don't need it for this, do you? And then as you continue on, I will find my way up and seal the practice for this session, side plank, the introduction to it so that we can actually do more of it on a regular basis. I think because the more I explore the benefits of different poses and concentrating on one at a time, it helps me to know, to realize as a teacher, but also as for myself, how important some of these postures are that need to be done regularly. Side planks can be done regularly, as long as you don't have, there's different variations to it, but if it's good for your shoulders, it's good for your arms, it's great for your, your spine itself, the full length of your spine, and of course there's these abdominal muscles. Okay, as I bring my hands in front of my heart to seal this practice for this session, thank you for being with me. I do appreciate it. Namaste, everyone. See you next time. This is Rebecca Jane from Yoga with Rebecca Jane, and I'll see you soon. Namaste.